Back in March of last year, we reported on Volkswagen subsidiary and Spanish performance brand CUPRA's entry into the US market. The brand initially planned to launch an electric four-mentor crossover and a larger electric SUV, with the latter to be built in Mexico, leveraging VW manufacturing by 2030. This week, the brand has announced that it has postponed its planned US market launch without specifying a new timeline. The decision, announced in CUPRA's Q2 2025 earnings report, cites uncertainties in U.S. trade policies, including potential import tariffs and a slowdown in electric vehicle demand as key factors. The company had plans to initially launch a new distribution model, but was later in talks to establish 20 CUPRA City garages through a partnership with Penske Automotive Group, which owns 203 dealerships across the U.S. SEAT's chief sales officer emphasized that the delay is not a cancellation, stating, "We're not stopping, just postponing our US launch and will continue to monitor market developments." Instead, CUPRA will focus on expanding in other high-potential markets while refining its US strategy. In recent weeks, President Trump has negotiated tariff rates with Japan, South Korea, and the EU down to 15% on automotive imports. That is down from the EU's previous 27.5% tariff rate that the president established back in April. The United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, also known as the USMCA, requires at least 75% of their parts to originate from the United States, Mexico, or Canada, and sets the tariff to 0% for the portion of the vehicles which meets those requirements. However, any non-USMCA compliant content in these vehicles faces an additional 25% tariff on the non-originating portion. For example, a vehicle with 50% US content would face an effective tariff rate of approximately 12.5%, while a vehicle with 30% US content would face an effective tariff rate of about 17.5%. On average, Mexican-made vehicles are subject to an effective tariff rate of around 15% due to varying levels of US content. So no matter if CUPRA shipped cars from Spain or Mexico, some tariff would still apply. Could this be an opportunity for CUPRA to follow in the steps of the direct-to-consumer model being pioneered by the VW-owned Scout brand? Or maybe incorporate the platform both Rivian and Volkswagen are scaling up under their new joint venture to capitalize on local components? As the story develops, we will keep you updated. This has been a tiny morsel of the current Your Weekly EV news in about 10 minutes. Subscribe to Miss GoElectric for the full experience, published every Sunday morning.